Okay, today is another day, and it's about the trailer change I'll be making so that I can build the right length ramps. And there she is, Puss in Boots, the star of the show. She just ate, so I know she's coming over just to be petted, because she literally just got done eating. Right, Puss in Boots? Yes, kitty. Yeah, good kitty. Go play. Alright, so what I have set up here is a way to figure out what the what a good pitch, I guess, would be for the ramps. Try to figure out the length that they would end up being. So the other night I had that set up right next to that, the end of the 10-degree drop, and I was figuring the calculations based off my jig, basically. This piece here, this 2x4 that has the two legs coming down that represent the challengers. And it's important because I need to make sure that when I'm loading up the car, that the bottom of the car doesn't rub anything or something get torn off the bottom of the car because I don't have the proper loading ramps. So my first attempt, based off the end of the trailer out, I ended up coming up with 100 inches. That's 8 feet 4 inches. And that's pretty long, and actually that would be the minimum amount. Really what would work even better would be more like 103 inches long, which the only way then I'd be able to store them is if they were stored from the back going forward. I wouldn't be able to go and store them in from the side. So that doesn't work. So I figured, well, the worst case scenario, they'd be 100 inches and they would fit. I can lock them in. Then I decided, well, what happens if I extend the back of the trailer a foot and a half? And that 2x4 hanging out represents the foot and a half drop, which the difference on the bottom point here to the ground to where the bottom of it would be at this point down is a matter of 2-inch drop, which actually helps a lot. And at that point, I calculated, based off what's set up right here, and the junk there that's on the ground along with the 4x4 simulates the same height as the concrete slab that the trailer would sit on. And I know the wheels are off, but actually the wheels were on there and the weight was on it. So that would be the height of the trailer regardless whether the wheels are on it or not. So at that point, this comes in a little bit over 7 feet. And I was speculating, say, 7 feet 6 inches. So it would be almost a foot less than that, which after even eliminating that bottom piece there, because I wouldn't need it anymore, I already cut it off of that one. And here it is in the pile of what's left of the trailer. It'd be pretty heavy, and I don't want to deal with it. And at the same time, my buddy Daniel said, let's make them out of aluminum. So that's what I'm going to do. But in the meantime, I still have to figure out the right length that would work. I decided to extend the trailer an extra foot and a half. And that benefits me two ways. First, it helps on not having to build over 8-foot long ramps. I probably would still at that point be at, say, 7 feet to 7.5 feet, which works. Even with aluminum being lighter, that would be also a little easier to handle. But also at the same time, the deck of this trailer from this point to the beginning of the gooseneck frame is 32 feet. Now, Dodge Challengers are 16 feet 5 inches. Well, you do the math on that, and it would end up as to where a car maybe the part of the trunk or whatever, the back end of the car would hang off of the trailer. And I believe the legal amount that is allowed to hang over is 12 inches. I'm not 100% sure, but based on my prior trainings and doing trailers, tractor trailers, I think that's what it is, but I could be wrong. But at this point, knowing that I would extend the trailer an extra 1.5 feet, then it makes it 33.5 feet long, which makes it more than comfortable to have two cars loaded, locked down, and give a few inches in between the bumpers of the car and fit comfortable. And at worst case scenario, the tail end might hang off 6 inches. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end up cutting the back off just at the seams. It's no big deal. And I'm going to extend it out 1.5 feet and still have plenty of height clearance on the tail end and still have room. I'm going to mount my lights underneath that and still have plenty of room, because based on other trailers, this would definitely be more than high enough when maneuvering in any kind of terrain. So that is the plan for this. So I'm going to get started on cutting that, and at the moment I'm going to put you on hold so I can clear all this stuff out of the way, get things so I can actually cut it and feel comfortable, and even brace that so it just doesn't drop to the ground or drop on me as I'm going to cut it. So hang tight, I'll be right back with you. Okay, I'm back, and as you can see, I got everything out of the way. I got tires set up with some wood on there so that when I cut the back piece off, really won't go far, and especially not hit me at the top of my leg where it happened when I was trying to weld it on. But also in the meantime, I took the liberty of cutting the pieces that I need to extend it out 18 inches. I didn't have any more 6-inch C-channel that I could use. Pretty much used it all up between the red trailer and the new material that I got. So what worked out really well, as I'm going to point out right here, is the 3-inch C-channel, which is the same thickness as the 6-inch C-channel. Two of these together make up exactly the 6 inches that this piece is. So I did cut the right angle correctly for the left side of the trailer as well as for the right side of the trailer. So what I'll end up doing is, before I actually weld them together, I will clean them up really well so that this way they go together real nice and they'll fit really tight. Then I'll be able to weld them on to the end of the trailer. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set you up back somewhere around here. So I'll go through some of the steps that it's going to take to cut that off. And I'm going to cut the bottom angle first, then I'll cut the top angle, and then I'll hit it at face value at the right angle, obviously. There's that word again. Yep, that will work. Alright, bottom first, then the top. I gotta make sure I got everything on, because like my 68 Plymouth Roadrunner video that is still processing at this point, I had it on this sweatshirt, this little microphone. And lo and behold, I took the sweatshirt off and set it aside, forgetting that this was on there, because I didn't have it right here. I have it up towards the collar. So now before I get going, I'm going to make sure everything is working. I don't forget it, because this is all new to me, even though I've only been in it a month. So I don't want to mess up if I don't have to. Okay, well, you get the gist. I got to change the blade because it is cutting through an angle iron piece on the inside of that for additional reinforcement. So I'm going to put you on hold, get these cut, and get right back to you. Okay, as you can see, it's been surgically removed. It is off. So now my next plan of attack is to clean up those pieces right there. Once they're cleaned up, I will weld them up and get them set up to put at the end. So that is that move, and once I am done getting them cleaned up and I have them welded up, I'll get right back with you. Okay, I'm back. What I did was I got it all pretty much tacked up, squared up, and actually measured up to make sure that everything went back accordingly, and that you could see that the line that I just took the level to down the side, it's running flush with the rest of it. And the same thing here on this side here. Let's see. So right now it's just tacked, just in case I got to tweak it. I'm going to make sure it's still square. So it's tacked there, it's tacked on the bottom on the 45, and it's tacked on the top of the 45, and in the middle on that piece right there. So after I double check and make sure that all is well, and I get the kitty's approval, Miss Puss in Boots, yeah, she's coming around, she's letting me know she's hungry, she wants to get fed, it is that time, I know who it is, but I gotta get back, I'm gonna get back to it, start welding it up, and make it happen, and then I'm gonna add another 4-inch C-channel, I do have that, and I'm gonna put it in the middle, which will give me less than a 2 foot from there, you know, to the next one, to that one, because that's how I've been placing them, every 2 foot on center, except for where the cradle is for the axles. So there'll be one more 4-inch C-channel going in there, and that'll be that. And then this, to me, will definitely be a good option, along with making the aluminum ramps instead of the steel ramps. And that puts it as to where the aluminum ramps won't have to be as long either, and gives me more shelf space for the cars, basically deck space, shelf space. So in a moment I will be back. Okay, I'm back. I got everything welded inside and out all the way around. Now all I got to do now is put some reinforcements in there. Look on the top over there, the bottom in there, and maybe put a strip in from that point to that point, and the same thing with that side there, just to reinforce it, and fill in that spot right there, and then put the 4-inch C-channel in. And tomorrow will be another day for that, but in the meantime, until then, see you tomorrow. Peace out. Okay, we're back. And there she is, Miss Puss in Boots. Yep, overlooking everything, making sure it's getting done right. She's chilling. She's had a hard day. But back to the video at hand, which happens to do with finishing extending the trailer an additional 1.5 feet. So it's all done. Reinforced, welded up, cleaned it up. The additional 4-inch C-channel has been placed in there, welded up, and everything is back to normal. So now I have 33 feet, 6 inches long trailer. So what would be left? Well, let me go back a little bit. Going back to, I figured out what the length of the ramps would be, and I am going to make them out of aluminum. The length will be 8 feet. and that'll be comfortable. They'll be lightweight, and then I'm going to make it as to where I could store them from, you know, right to left going in, and one on the opposite side coming in. And I'm going to base it off. I have the plastic on there in case it rains. I kind of want to keep the welded areas that I sanded and what have you clean from getting rusty. But I'm going to add reinforcements from that cradle end to that cradle end, and by doing that I'll be creating a shelf to put the ramps and store them in there. And I'm going to use part from the original ramp that locks them into place once they're down or up is this piece here. Yep, that piece there is to where I'll make it is to where it'll lock them in place, and then I'll actually put a padlock through it. I'll drill a hole so that it won't be that easy to steal them. It probably would if they wanted them bad enough, but it might keep the honest guy out anyway. So once that's done, then at least the tail end of the section of this trailer will be finished. My guy couldn't make it today, which would be Sunday, to help me finish welding up the front of that gooseneck. So tomorrow's another day for me, and that's most likely what I'll be doing. I'll be welding that up, and I know he's got the material for me he picked up, so I'll probably have to venture down there and snatch it up. But that ends this video for extending the trailer an additional 18 inches and the configuration on how long the ramps will be. So until the next video, I appreciate everybody watching and liking and hopefully subscribing. And if you can, I would appreciate it. Tell your friends, as everybody says. Tell your family members, whoever you can. And follow me, or not so much as you don't have to really follow me. You can start the actual video, let it play for maybe a minute, and then fast forward halfway through if you want. Watch maybe a minute of that, and then when you get towards the end, about a minute of that, and give it a like. I would appreciate it. But until then, try to get something done. Thanks again.